coil-over conversion on this SL500. And I'm really happy with the results. In fact, the last major upgrade I made was with these tires. And you can't believe the difference that new tires make, particularly if they're rated high on the comfort scale. I would absolutely say if you're going to put summer high performance slicks on your car, it's not going to ride very well without the ABC. There are a number of things that I did film, and those have to do with kind of special tips that you might be able to use if you're planning to do the conversion yourself. Make sure you use both hands, it's heavy. So this set of coilovers came from a company called Hero Performance. There are a number of companies providing conversions for these cars, and I think the number of companies is growing at a steady pace because the demand is high. So I'm going to show you the features of these particular units here and why I chose them. In doing research online, I decided I really wanted a set of coil-over shocks that are fully adjustable. And that's what these are. They're fully adjustable for ride height, so I can spin this up or down to adjust my ride height. I can change the tension on the spring here to affect the stiffness of the suspension. And the one I really like is there's an adjustment at the top here that can dampen, either increase or lower the dampening of the shock absorber itself. And when you turn this knob, it's just click, 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 click. There's over 20 adjustments. So with this set, I can go in there, I can get the car exactly where I want it as far as height above the ground, and then drive the car. This is going to take a little experimenting, and adjust this dampening feature until I get the rebound rate right where I want it. The other feature I wanted is I wanted a shock that was not prone to corrosion when subject to rain, water, salt, whatever. And I liked what Hero said about their testing procedure. They actually did saltwater spray testing for corrosion prevention on their units here. Okay, this is maximum low dampening on the coilover. Watch the movement. So you can see it's pretty bouncy. Now I'll turn it all the way clockwise until it bottoms out for stiff dampening, and let's see the difference. Oh, gee. I can move it about a ½ an inch, but look at that. There's no bounce at all to this. So as I said earlier, if you're in love with no body roll at all, cornering this baby, go ahead and set it at maximum stiffness. These 4 struts here weigh 102 pounds. That's 102 pounds right there. We move on to the accumulators and the valve blocks in this area. We're talking about 120 pounds, and the pump weighs 17 pounds. When you add all this up, including the fluid, see, a lot of people miss the weight of the fluid that run through the entire system here. You're looking at a total weight of 262 pounds on this system right here, removed from an SL500. That's a lot of weight. Now, coilover conversions vary in weight, but the setup I'm installing only weighs 48 pounds. So I'm saving at least 220 pounds by removing this. Do you think that is going to affect the handling of the car? When I tackle a job like this that requires a whole bunch of tools and even some special tools and some supplies, I usually lay it all out on a bench. I try to guesstimate everything I'm going to need, and then I lay it out on a bench like this because I hate going back to the toolbox, opening up tool drawers, throwing tools on the ground, throwing tools here and there. I'm sure some of you are just laughing because you know what I'm talking about. These are the things you're going to need if you do this. Don't expect you could go at this job with a crescent wrench and a pair of pliers and a few screwdrivers. Even a few sockets aren't going to help you. And even most of the standard sockets and wrenches won't help you because you're going to need an 18. You're also going to need a star bit, which most people don't have. I'm going to be driving up in the mountains now. Let's stiffen this baby up. Oh no, I'm going to take a run to Seattle on the freeway, so let's soften it up. And I must say, it's been a kick driving this car. Granted, it's not the same as the ABC, but if you're always thinking about the ABC in your head, you're going to say, well, this isn't the same. Well, when I get in my 560 SL, that's the R107, and I drive that, driving this with coilovers is a huge step above the older car with the older engineered type suspension. And I've received numerous requests for additional information, requests for how to do this. People asking, do you sell coilovers? What do you recommend? And so on. And the questions, I just cannot answer them all. There's too many. So what I decided to do just a few weeks ago is to complete a video I've been working on that will take you through the process of doing this conversion yourself, and it will answer a lot of questions like, how do you get rid of the ABC warning light? What about ride height? How do you adjust the ride height properly? And I'm going to include a lot of different tips and tricks that I used when I did the conversion on my own car. And I want to explain right away that I do not sell the coilovers. There's lots of companies out there selling them, and this is what I've used. But you need to know I cannot claim that this is the best one out there because I have not installed others to do a comparison. If you've watched any of my other videos, you've seen how hard I drive this car. In fact, if I tighten down the dampening, I can do a 40-mile-an-hour turn in this and virtually get no body roll, almost exactly like the ABC. But I've also come up with 3 kits that you might find very helpful if you're doing an ABC conversion yourself. If you watch my series on the ABC suspension, you know I am not a fan of trying to remove all the carpets from the trunk to get to the top of those first struts. That's absolutely ridiculous. So I learned how to cut a hole in the correct location. Then I came up with these covers to cover over the hole, because if you install coilovers that are adjustable, you're going to have holes in your carpet anyway, so why not cut the holes? And that will allow you to remove the struts, install the coilovers with ease compared to the couple hours you'd spend messing with those carpets. So this kit will give you the sharp tool you need to cut the carpet. It'll give you the pattern you need, where you're going to cut the hole. That's very important. It'll be cut in the exact position where you can get to those 2 nuts. And then I provide these covers and some Velcro so you can just stick these on over the holes once you've installed and made the adjustment. This is the outer bushing on the control arm where it attaches to the knuckle or the hub. I call this the hidden bushing because people can't see it, so you don't know if it's going bad. The only way you're going to really know if it's going to bad, you start feel movement in the rear end. It wants to steer itself. So I recommend, if you're doing a coilover conversion, that you just plan to replace this bushing right here. I only sell quality bushings, and I've come up with a press tool right here. Watch as I demonstrate how I use this to just recently install these in my own car. And I will be putting these in some of my other cars, because you cannot believe how many vehicles use this bushing right here. I will be selling 2 bushings, a couple of special tools, and this press tool together as one kit. Now this is one I really believe in, and this is becoming a very popular kit on my website. I know there are a lot of people who, when they do the coilover conversion, they just leave the original tandem pump in place and they're told to plug off the hydraulic lines and just leave it. Well, the problem with that is, what if those hydraulic lines start to leak? You know, what if the pump starts to fail? It's already old. It makes a lot of noise, it's heavy, puts drag on the engine, and I couldn't believe the difference in acceleration when I got rid of all the weight from the ABC system and got rid of that big, heavy tandem pump. So my kit includes a pump just like this. This is a standard M112, M113 power steering pump, and I include the original tank. Get rid of those tanks that clutter up your inner fender panels. And this original tank bolts right on to the top of this. I have to include a bunch of extra hardware because you're going to have to do a tapping for a bolt hole, but everything lines up. And if you want, as an add-on, I recommend installing a magnetic filter. This will really help I'll show you what this looks like if you haven't seen it on my website. But this magnetic filter is going to really help to keep that power steering fluid clean over a long period of time. So this kit is already available on my website. I recommend if you're doing a coilover conversion on an early ABC car, get rid of the tandem pump and just pull all that extra stuff off the car. I've been running my website now for 25 years. I remember I got onto eBay in 1999 when it was brand new, and I typed in Mercedes and 75 items come up. For fun, just go type in Mercedes now. Millions of things come up. And it was kind of fun in those early days. You know, we started selling little fuse kits and little things on eBay back in 2000, and that's how this business got started. And I just want to take a moment to thank all of you who followed me and who've purchased product from my website, because without that type of support, you know, these videos wouldn't exist. And so if you find these videos helpful, if you work on your old Mercedes yourself, I would ask that you consider, purchasing products from my website, because that really helps me fund the videos that I do on YouTube.